The Intergalactic Academy barracks buzzed with noise as cadets from every corner of the galaxy polished their weapons. Shiny plasma rifles and advanced beam cannons gleamed under the lights, each one a symbol of power and pride. In the middle of the hall, a young human cadet placed her weapon on the table. It wasn't sleek or glowing. It was long, heavy, and old in design. The aliens burst into laughter. "Is that a toy from Earth?" One reptilian cadet sneered, his scales glittering with amusement. Another waved his plasma gun. "This is real tech. That piece of scrap will fail before it even fires." The laughter grew louder, echoing through the room, as cadets mocked not just her weapon, but humanity itself. To them, humans were outdated, too primitive to stand beside alien elites, but the human cadet didn't react. She sat silent, her eyes calm, her hands steady as she cleaned the rifle's barrel. The mocking only grew until the instructor entered. The tall alien officer scanned the room, his gaze settling on the human's weapon. His eyes narrowed. He recognized something none of the others saw. The laughter faded when he finally spoke, his voice sharp and cold. "The next trial. Snipers only." The training field stretched for miles, a wasteland of shifting targets and glowing towers. Alien cadets boasted as they took their positions, their rifles humming with advanced energy cores. They laughed again, pointing at the human girl who carried her old Terran build. "One shot and it will break," a winged cadet hissed, wings flaring with pride. The instructor raised his hand. "Begin." Blasts of plasma filled the air, bolts racing toward easy targets. Scores appeared quickly, the aliens cheering as their numbers climbed. But when the human lifted her rifle, silence fell. She didn't rush. She exhaled, her body still, her eyes locked on a target hidden far beyond normal range. A single shot cracked across the field. The distant target, so small it looked like a speck, shattered into dust. The monitors froze, unable to register the hit until the instructor reset them manually. Gasps echoed through the ranks. That's impossible," one cadet stammered. But the instructor said nothing, only watching her reload with calm precision. Then alarms flared. Her weapon wasn't failing. It was exceeding known alien tech limits. The scoreboard glitched, unable to measure her strike. The silence was heavier than laughter. Something dangerous had just awakened. Whispers filled the academy halls after the human's impossible shot. Alien cadets huddled together, their confidence shaken. Some claimed it was luck. Others said it was a trick, but none dared laugh anymore. The instructor ordered an immediate investigation. Archivists pulled up files long sealed in the Academy's vaults. What they uncovered left the room silent. Records told of ancient Terran sharpshooters, humans who had fought in wars so brutal that entire empires had fallen before their rifles. They were known for striking enemies from ranges thought unreachable, their aim unshaken, even under chaos. Generations had passed, but the skill had not vanished. The rifle design, mocked as primitive, was nearly identical to the legendary Terran war snipers once feared across the galaxy. Instructors traded uneasy glances. The aliens realized that what they dismissed as outdated was, in truth, a weapon perfected through centuries of human survival. And the girl wielding it carried the bloodline of those marksmen. The cadets stared at her differently now, fear mixing with respect. But the calm human said nothing, only checking her rifle with quiet focus. Then came the announcement that sent shivers through them all. The next trial will be live. Against war drones, the battlefield roared to life as metallic war drones filled the sky. They darted and spun with deadly speed, their weapons firing in all directions. Alien cadets raised their rifles, beams flashing wildly as they tried to keep up. Shots missed, drones swarmed, and panic spread across the field. The human cadet stepped forward, her old Terran rifle steady in her hands. She didn't chase the drones. She waited, her breath slow, her eyes sharp. When the first drone swooped low, a single crack echoed. The machine dropped instantly, sparks spraying as it crashed into the dirt. The aliens froze. Another shot, another drone fell. She moved with calm precision, each bullet finding its mark. Where the aliens fired hundreds of shots to miss, she needed only one. The instructor's gaze followed her every move, his jaw tightening with grim recognition. He had seen this before, in stories whispered about humanity's ancient wars. Within minutes, the swarm was thinning, wreckage littering the ground. Alien cadets gasped, their weapons overheating, while the human girl stood untouched, her rifle glowing faintly from constant fire. Then alarms blared. A larger drone, twice the size of the others, dropped into the arena. Its cannons powered up, targeting her directly. The real test had just begun. The academy shook as the giant drone unleashed its cannons, blasts ripping across the field. Alien cadets scattered for cover, their rifles useless against its heavy armor. The human cadet didn't flinch. She dropped to one knee, steadying her Terran rifle, eyes locked on a weak point near the drone's sensor core. Time seemed to freeze. She fired once. The shot cut through smoke and chaos, piercing the core with surgical precision. The massive machine screamed and fell, crashing into the dirt with a deafening roar. Silence swallowed the arena. Even the alien cadets who mocked her earlier now stared in disbelief. The instructor's voice trembled as he ordered the rifle be taken before the Galactic Council. Within hours, holograms of the weapon and her performance flickered in the council chamber. At first, the alien leaders laughed again. "An old Terran toy bested your drones?" But when the technical data appeared, their laughter died. The rifle was no scrap. It was modeled after humanity's ancient war snipers, weapons feared in galactic history for killing at ranges no alien had ever matched. The councillors exchanged uneasy looks, then a piercing alarm cut through the chamber. Fleet sensors reported an incoming threat. Unknown warships entering the system. Sirens wailed across the academy as the sky above the planet split with fire. Unknown warships pierced through orbit, their black hulls bristling with weapons. Alien cadets rushed to defensive posts, panic in their voices as the raiders unleashed salvos of plasma. The Academy's shields flared and cracked, explosions lighting the horizon. Alien fleets scrambled to respond, but their formations broke under the sudden assault. Commanders shouted orders, desperate to rally their troops, but every volley from the enemy tore holes through their lines. The cadets on the ground watched in horror as their proud armadas began to fall apart. In the chaos, the human cadet climbed to the highest tower, her rifle slung over her shoulder. Calm and unshaken, she sighted through the scope, not at the skies, but at the enemy ground forces slipping past the shields. Her shots struck with deadly precision, clearing paths for alien soldiers who moments earlier had mocked her. Slowly, the tide shifted. Then the largest raider ship appeared, its massive silhouette blotting out the stars. Alien officers froze as scans confirmed what they feared. It was a vessel once thought destroyed, belonging to an ancient enemy. Humanity had defeated long ago. The raider flagship loomed above, its weapons locking onto the academy below. Alien fleets faltered, their ships scattering under its overwhelming fire. Fear gripped the cadets, but the human girl stood tall, her rifle steady in her hands. From the command deck, the instructor's voice broke through. "Focus fire where she marks. Trust her aim." She exhaled, eyes narrowing through the scope. A single round cracked the air, striking a vulnerable node on the flagship's armor. At once, Terran-trained precision guided alien volleys, each blast following her mark. The colossal vessel shuddered, its cannons failing one by one until it exploded in a blaze that lit the skies. Silence swept the battlefield. The cadets stared at the human in awe, no trace of laughter left in their eyes. The instructor turned to the council, his words sharp and final. "You mocked her rifle. You mocked her people. But humanity was never weak. They were the galaxy's deadliest marksmen." The councillors trembled, realizing the truth too late. The bloodline of Terran snipers had returned, and with it a warning. Mock humanity, and you awaken a predator the stars themselves remember.